Hello, and welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Rain Dunnigan.
And we decided to go back with another OVA anime movie. And this time we chose this Mega Man educational video that, it's that weird thing that I thought, okay, cool, I like that Mega Man anime from the 90s, that used to appear on, they used to funnel it in, like...
The cartoon one, not the anime one. Not to be that guy. Was there an anime, or are you talking about...
There is an anime one, I want to say, and then, I don't know if I ever watched the there is the, are you talking about, there's the older American cartoon one where it looks more kind of like the box art, but then I almost want to say the other one, at least in the U.S., it was in, the late 90s, maybe, give or take. 97.
Oh, that one, like the Battle Network thing, like that.
No, that would be like 2000s, I think. They say late 2000s. I mean, late 90s. But I could have swore there was. But I just remember it appeared on something weird, like on USA or something like that. It popped up on there.
Because I knew of there's Mega Man NT Warrior. Just Google it. There's the 94 eras where they have it's like a cross between they're not as chibi, but they basically have the same costumes as they do in the games. And then I'm sure there's another one, but I see basically a Battle Network one other than that. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, or at least I want to say that it might be like a half-half type thing. It's partially American, but it's also yeah, because that's not the one I think I'm thinking of, but
like the fighting robot, Mega Man, that one.
Oh, maybe it is that one then. As I said, it looks like that one here.
I thought that was American.
It sounds like it's part American, part Japanese.
Okay.
So it's like a co-produced thing, But let's be honest, probably means Americans are like, hey, here's our idea for the Mega Man, not this Rockman. I don't get Rockman. Like, who's he, work at the gravel pit or something like that? Some Fred Flintstone motherfucker, he's mega. He's got his Buster on him and everything like that. He's got this hot girlfriend. That's his sister. Oh, well, no, take that back there. That's fucking weird. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Shit, I didn't play the game. I just saw it. It was just there, and I looked at the cover, and I was trying to make up an anime based on this, or whatever you kids call those movies these days. Whatever. You guys animate it, slap America in the front, not the second. It's America first, then Japan, and we'll call it a day. Well, here you go. Here's $20, and here's a cup of noodles. You guys know what to do.
I like the idea that America is paying them $20 to use their IP. Would it be the other way around?
Yeah, exactly. One of those ones. But it's like how so many cartoons are. It's like Americans haven't I don't think Americans have animated in 50 years realistically, other than independent projects and some side things. Sort of some Disney movies as well too. But so many of those shows, it's we drew a picture of the character, recorded some voices, and we sent it overseas.
Yeah, or they made the in-betweens or whatever, kind of from series to series, depends. But I'll be honest, Mega Man is one of those series that I know of Mega Man. I know of a couple of bigger characters. I played some of the games, but I never really got into Mega Man. Not that I didn't like Mega Man, I just never got into it. And I didn't really, because when you're a kid, you can only get so many games at a time. So in Mega Man, and plus Mega Man, I always remember it being pretty hard. Maybe I just sucked at it. I remember it being difficult.
No, they are hard. That is part of the Mega Man legacy.
So, but I always liked the character designs. I always liked the world it took place in. I don't really know much of the story so much. I think if I have to guess, Mega Man itself is pretty simplistic, but Mega Man X is where it gets more complicated. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, Mega Man X is when I think of the Mega Man I like the most, it's definitely the X series. When that kind of came out, especially the very first Mega Man X game. That's the one I'm so nostalgic for that one. I love the way it plays. The music in there is just killer and everything about it. And that's really to me where Mega Man sort of takes off, and especially it's if I had to say my two favorite Mega Man games, it's definitely X and then maybe X4. Though I will say Mega Man 8, I'm pretty nostalgic for as well on PlayStation 1 and Saturn.
Well, one thing, it's also one of those things, limitations of the graphics, and I guess if you grew up playing it, it wouldn't bother you as much. But I guess, there's the well, it's two things. There's the box art. These are the original box art we got for America, where it's like a guy in his late 40s who just got back from Nam and got transported into space. And then there's like, you know, the character designs from Japan, which look really good. But then when you play the game, he's just this short, stubby little, like wide-eyed, like derpy faced gremlin, you know, this kind of like just like, you know, like why I oughta doing like little like, you know, shit like crab walk kind of thing when he runs. Or at least kind of has a position, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, oh man, I wish I get it. It was limitations at the time.
Man, I wish the Nam guy was there. What would he do in this situation?
Not even that. Not even that. I just wish the
Mega Man, played by Robert De Niro.
Yeah, like the bonus level is just like Deer Hunter, basically. Yeah, with the like the Buster just has a big revolver in it and he just spins it, you know. But like, but no, the thing is, I just kind of wish that when I finally went and tried to play like one of them on a Mega Man collection, I was like, oh man, I kind of wish the graphics more represented the art style, because you know I love the art style so much and all that. And I think Mega Man, was it 8 or 9 is the one that
8.
actually finally, yeah, where it actually started to represent that, and I thought it was cool. But and I think that's maybe why, I don't know, like I only played a little bit of X. What I liked of X, what I played of it I liked, but then so I always kind of was something I always wanted to get into. And then we were looking at this channel because we did Gunsmith Cats last time. We just came across this YouTube playlist of like 500 something OVAs of just random things, most of which were out of print or whatever. And we're just flipping through. I'm like, dude, there's a Mega Man OVA. And I basically just like skimmed through it. Really didn't watch it. Saw like the beginning where he's like getting into laser fights. Like, okay. And saw where he meets the kid for a second. Like, okay, he meets the kid for a minute. Jumped in, like lands another laser fight, and then jump ahead, he's landing on the robot and you're speaking English, like, dude, we can do this one. Yeah, all right, cool. And then like, so I just happened to land on every single like moment that would have just been like, okay, this looks good, cool, you know. Going in, like, I did not know we were going to be watching like a children's edutainment like movie. I'm not gonna lie, and if I knew that, I probably would have passed this up, but here we are. So
yeah, well, I'll say this is how I try to put myself in like my 10-year-old self's mind if I was back in the day. If you would have caught this in like, even though I don't think it came out to the US till like 2000 and something, like way past its moment, but if for some reason you came across this and it just happened to be, you know, readily available in like 95 or whatever when it came out in Japan, but like you watched it as a kid, I think this one was what you've been like, oh dude, this is fucking badass. And you know, you would have, you know, skimmed on like the other stuff because you just been like, oh, there's Mega Man, he's blasting shit, Proto Man shows up and rolls there, you know, and Rush and all this stuff, and you're like, oh, this is cool, you know. So if you take it in that context, it is kind of interesting. When you kind of watch it now, it's just like I just almost like it's just such a, you're just kind of like, okay, so here we go, you know, because really the way this story starts off is there's this kid who's just up fucking late. Oh yeah,
before we get into that, let's just skip this. So here's the thing, it's not that it's like, how do I put it? It's just kind of like, to me, now I don't know what the box art says. I don't know if like Mega Man teaches, like goes to Japan, or Mega Man learns about Japan or whatever. I did not know what the thing said. I'm just going off what the YouTube thing. It's just Mega Man OVA episodes 1 through 3. Like, all right, cool.
That real bare bones like description.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's just like, okay, because it's an OVA, so the animation is better and a lot more effort and work has gone into it. And to be fair, like when the action happens, it's actually really good. It's not just your standard like one, like just, you know, generic anime, like few lasers run by and barely any animation. No, it's like really well animated. The character designs look good. I mean, it's something where there are moments where it's like they put a lot of work into this. They really went out of their way to make this like carry the energy of the game and all that. And then we're like, now let's talk about the Japanese highway system. I'm like, why? Like, it just seems so fucking weird to me. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're just like, hey, we need to teach kids, remind kids why Japan is so great. So make this like a movie to play in like classrooms on a movie, like one of the movie days Japanese kids get, like, 'cause they work way harder than Americans, so like, or maybe they're like, hey, we got to get Americans over here, so like, American kids like Mega Man, throw this out there, let's localize this shit, I guess. I have no fucking idea the thought process behind this fucking thing, because the thing is, when it goes Mega Man, it's really good. It's really good. And this is coming from someone who doesn't really even know that much about Mega Man. Maybe other people could tell me I'm wrong. But like, when it goes to like this Mega Man, this little kid hanging out, like, okay, I mean, I'm not expecting like In Bruges or The Departed here. I'm not expecting like that level of dialogue, but fine, and then like, I don't know, it just fucking lingers. It lingers and just like, yeah, I'll let you talk. I'll give you a minute.
It's probably one of those ones like those guys like you came in the fucking OVA office and he's like, dude, you wouldn't fucking believe it, but little Hataro, I was at home and he was watching some G.I. Joe and he just wanted to be all American. We're like, no way, we got to have the kids learning fucking Japanese right here. It's like, why'd you go so American? He's like, I don't know, it's the G.I. Joe's on in the background all day long. It's like he's converted them.
Did you see what they do to our box art? Those motherfuckers,
Yeah, they even says on the box art that this guy was in Nam, and now he's sent to the future.
Well, here's actually a little thing with that. Like, for a minute, I was thinking, because
did you see what they did to Roll? Like, they put Roll in scantily clawed clothes and called him his girlfriend.
Hey, whatever sells, right?
Exactly.
Some units. Well, here's another
Shit, you play Marvel vs. Capcom. Fucking Roll shoots missiles out of her tits in that one.
Does she?
Yeah, she does when she does her special.
Okay, well, whatever. All right, No, but like, so
she does transform into a giant robot. The makeup.
I forgot. Yeah,
and let's be honest. Even though Roll looks like she's 10 years old, she's probably 100.
Yeah, I don't know the age range, maybe, but that's still kind of like that's that kind of lolly shit where it's like, here's like a fucking 10-year-old, but really she's like a goddess and she's like 5,000 years old. Like, all right, why we stop at 10?
She's older than Dr. Light.
If you say so, like, so that's still like they're not selling it either way. But I never played as her, so I mean, I knew she was there, but I never played it. Was she in both Capcom 1 and 2, or was she just in?
I know. I want to say it's 1, but you have to have like the PlayStation and or the Dreamcast version, and she's an unlockable character. Because I don't think because all like the collections that they have nowadays, they always put the arcade ones on there, which is cool in a sense. But then you kind of realize sometimes you're like, well, the home console versions, even if they were limited maybe on graphics and loading and things like that, sometimes they had more unlockables, which was always kind of like, It's like Street Fighter Alpha 3. I know it's so off topic, but like, I always wish it's like, they always put the arcade version on there. And I'm like, man, after you've played the Dreamcast version or that PSP version, you kind of feel like those are the superior ones. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think so like, compared to the arcade one, you almost have between the Dreamcast and the PSP one, it's almost like 10 more characters. Probably not that many, but it's still a bunch more.
Yeah, but anyway, so like I was just imagining, because there's the whole part where because initially, like when he like a Mega Man gets pulled out of the video game and lands into the real world for a minute, I was like, this was popular back in the 90s. This could still happen.
Yeah, Last Action Hero.
Yeah, we could still roll with this. I just didn't think it was going to stop and like the kid's going to like take like him on, like, okay, so here's how we like use chopsticks. Like I didn't know it was gonna like go over every little fucking thing like that. But then like at some point, like I'm just watching this, and like the thing is, at some point I was imagining like, what if it was like the version of the guy from the cover art, and he just like he doesn't like he doesn't just like zap out of there. It's almost kind of like The Ring, almost like he just like slips out of the TV all wet and moist. He's screaming like he was just born, like, what the fuck, he's like looking around. He sees like this kid like yell, like screaming in Japanese. He doesn't know what the kid's saying. He's like Charlie's everywhere. He like boots the kid in the face, runs out the window, jumps, like falls 3 stories, like shatters his ankle. He's just like trying to fucking find painkillers. Like,
he's naked except for his Mega Buster for some reason. That's all he's got. He's one of those ones like just running around.
just like just like strangles a homeless guy for his clothes or something like that, you know. So it's just
what year is it?
that kind of
What
thing.
day?
I gotta kill a Nazi robot scientist. You know, they gotta do the edgy American version that they made to sell to kids, to American kids.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's even like the edutainment part is like, I want to go back to the beginning first, but I just want to say I didn't really know what was going on because at first it was like Mega Man's flying on Rush through Japan, and Rush is like, "Boyle, you take a look at that, Mega Man. Look at they drive on the wrong fucking side of the road." And Mega Man has to be like, "Yeah, well, you know, in Japan they drive on the right side instead of the left, like Americans and so on." I was like, "Well, that's fucking weird. Like, well, why do you feel the need to just bring that up? Especially why did the dog bring that up first and foremost?" And then about like the next time I did it, like, oh, they're gonna do this more often. I see. I just thought that was a weird like. they feel like they flew over a highway and they felt like they needed to bring up the like, you know, if you take a quick look, you can see where the shift stick is in the car here.
Well, it was over everything. It was like I don't remember at all because it was just kind of like a little bit of information overload. But like I also noticed after a certain point, like Rush would say something, and they would just either dismiss it, or they would not even like acknowledge what he just said. So it's just kind of like, "Gee, Mega Man, we got to stop Dr. Wily. Hey, Rush, no one fucking asked you." Like, "Hey, well, I'm just saying," you know, or just be like, "Hey, Mega
How about you
Man."
eat your fucking pedigree?
Exactly. You know, it's like, "Hey, Mega Man, those chopsticks look difficult to use." "Yeah, you know, I'm doing just fine. Why don't you just shut the fuck up with the commentary?" Like, I'm just trying to be part of the conversation." Like, yeah, well, less of that. Just, like, at some point, they don't really just like. He doesn't even. After a while, I don't think they give him any lines. He's just going like, "Double."
Yeah. Row, Raggy.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
He becomes more primal as it goes on.
well, he also he didn't start off. I want to say his voice even goes kind of more derpier and kind of more like dog-like. Like somebody came in like, "Oh, golly, Mega Man," and then as it goes on, like, "Mega Man," and then it's just like, "Go, come on, fucking Goofy," you know.
Yeah, then by about the end it was like, because I remember I was laughing. I'm like when you know that like you can just tell it's a guy coming in to do some dog voices.
Like the first, like, or like the voice actor for the first episode, like flaked out on him, and they only had one day left to do it. Like someone in the sound booth, like just puts on a set of headphones, like, "Fuck it, I'll do it."
He's like, "Let me show you how to do some dog voices." It's like, oh jeez, okay, pump the brakes on that a little bit.
He then starts barking. He starts barking at the voice director.
Jumps across, starts biting him. He's gone way too into character. We got a Marlon Brando on our hands.
Don't look him in the eye. Don't look him in the eye. He thinks you're challenging him.
Oh, but I want to go back to the beginning because I think there's something quite funny in this where. Okay, so we have our last action hero sort of set up, and what it is you got this kid named Utah or whatever, like fucking like
Johnny Utah, yeah,
Johnny Utah. That was the first thing. He's like, oh, he's got an all-American name, you know. I feel like Americans love when they get a dub movie like, oh, he's got a name. It's kind of like Hero in like Gundam Wing, where it's like, hey, well, it's Hero as an Hiro. No, it's Hero because he's the hero of the goddamn fucking universe here. You know, and so you got boy Johnny Utah here, and he's got even though it's like supposed to be like what, like 94 or something like that, like obviously his parents aren't rolling that big because he's still got an NES and he's just got the second model where you plug the cartridges in the top, and he's got the dogbone controller and everything like that. So here he is. I feel like that's literally trying to like
the everyman. Yeah,
the everyman, and also be like, hey, we also got a new NES model out there. I don't know if you know about this, but if you're gonna play Mega Man 5, well, you know what? It's cooler if you could stick the cartridge up and, you know, straight up and down. It's like you have a Super Nintendo controller, but with, you know, 4 less buttons. Nothing says cheap like looking like you have a brand new system and then wait a second.
I remember, I don't want to detail it too much, but I remember like right when the PS2 came out, they came out with the smaller, slimmer PS1.
The PS1.
Yeah, and I remember one of my friends, not the brightest guy in the world, thought he got the PS2, and he thought he got like the super like tiny PS2 and it's good. It just looks different and this and that. Like that's not the PS2. That's PS1. It's just it's the dying model. It's their swan song model. He's just like, oh, then he finally got a PS2 game for it. It didn't work. Like, yeah, sorry, I had to find out this way.
Yeah, here you go. Here's the hard, cold truth of it.
Yeah, I guess you can play that firework game in like maybe another year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Chicken tag, whatever it was.
well, Utah playing his NES Model 2 and whatever Famicom Model 2, but I think it looked the same on both of them. They're like, you know what? We realize that we're going to sell this everywhere, so might as well not make two different ones. And I think his parents are like, "Hey, Utah, you better go to bed or whatever." He's like, "Oh, whatever. Like one more level. You know what I mean?" He's like, "I'm gonna beat this fucking game." And then he passes out and whatnot, and then somehow, some way, Mega Man fucking and Dr. Wily come through the game because he left it on all night long. And I don't know if that's supposed to be a message, be like, hey kids, don't just leave your NES on all night long. I know there's no fucking save system, but shit could come out of that thing.
Well, it's two things. It's kind of like, well, first off, they maybe trying to do two things with that. Like the dad comes home late. He's like, "Oh, the kids are asleep." Like, "Oh, I'm working so many double shifts. I barely have the time to talk to them." Now, I don't know if that's them saying kind of like, you see, in Japan, we proudly work double shifts because we care about the economy, or if they're trying to like start up like, hey, some like relationship parent stuff, like whatever, fuck that, we're not coming back for that, you know, like we have to look at the highways and like their weather system and like the 4 different regions of Japan. So,
yeah, just comes home. It's just like you just hear that Bruce Springsteen song, like the work, you know, the work in life. Dad's just like smoking his last cigarette before he walks in. He's like, I don't want the kids to know. He's like carrying his jacket, his shirt's all like ruffled and like kind of disfigured by this point, you know, another hard day at the office.
Mega Man sits down, like has a cigarette with him, you know, it puts on like the flame, the flame power up just to like light up the cigarette, you know. Exactly. And also, they're just sitting there like having a cigarette, like, man, I feel like I know I look like a kid, but I'm like actually like 58 and I've been fighting this fuck named Wily for a long time, man. And it's just like, I don't know what to do. I'm not even controlling my own body. I have these thoughts, but I can't do it. I'm there for someone else. It's like me, man. It's like my fucking salary job, my cocksucker of a boss. Let me tell you, you know.
He's just out there. He's like, this is the weird fucking thing. Me and Dr. Wily we were literally the same year or same age. We used to look the same. He ages, I don't.
He's made that way.
But the funny thing too is like, I love how Mega Man pops out of the TV and then it's all of a sudden it's like, Utah, goddammit, you staying up all night playing games. They're like, oh, Mega Man's here. It's like, oh, and the parents are just so like, oh, well, Mega Man's, well, that's normal that shit comes out of the TV. Like, they do not like seem phased at all by this. That like, and Dr. Wily did like, oh, you mean that dude from who's the bad guy in the game? Like they have some like knowledge of it and everything too. Once again, not phased.
We see the kids watching that American cartoon. They really changed it a lot. They made it from Nom or some shit. Yeah, I don't know. But like, yeah, they don't seem phased about that at all. And the thing about it is like, I guess I was watching. I was like, oh, they took that real easy. And it's just like how a lot of lingering conversations about Japan and Japanese customs kept on coming and staying. And I thought just for a minute, like, okay, it's fish out of water story. But the thing is, there's no real awkward moment of Mega Man wandering around like a Japanese market and getting into hijinks or something like that, or like breaking like social norms and making a funny scene and then like, you know, making up for it or whatever. It's just him like being told, he's like, would you look at that? The other side of the road, son, you know, like... Like, you know, it's just kind of like, all right, fine, I guess, you know, but like,
yeah. And then they mention all the holidays too, like, you know, like, and today is, you know, Boys Day, and this is Girls Day, and this is Sports Day, and it's like, what's all these like really generic sounding holidays?
You can tell it's Boys Day because we got 2 flags of a fish. Like, all right, cool.
Just 2 flapping cocks up in the air.
What do Girls Day get? Well, they get cookies, and then like Dr. Wily comes out of a fucking Doctor Strange vortex, like, hey, what's up? You know. Just steals a bunch of little girls' snacks and fucking dips.
And then he just starts eating them. He's like, "Oh, perfect! I need a snack. This is how you know I'm a villain."
I steal candy from children. Which I will say, the thing is, like, because when the action actually happens, the action's thought out. That's the weird thing to me. Like, I don't know what the mandate was for this, because I don't think this would have been my favorite anime, or I would have been like totally blown away if they kept like if they kept out all the edutainment stuff. They just made it like a Mega Man straightforward adaptation, or even like do the blast action hero thing and just keep it more like story focused. That would have been fine too. I think it's just like it's just that, like, it's such a weird fucking combination, especially when you see the amount of effort they put into like the battle scenes, because even some of the battle scenes are cool. Like, there's a part when Mega Man's fighting someone and he's rolling, and as he's rolling, he's like firing, like, like it's like a John Woo movie or something like that, each roll, and like it's kind of thought out. And then you just get to the most generic, like, okay, we're gonna read off this cue card about facts about Japan.
Well, what it feels like is it should be, this is a normal anime and all the Mega Man stuff's kind of badass. And then, like, your post-credit scene would be like, pretty much like the more you know type stuff. Like, it feels like that. And I would be kind of fine if that was the case, but it's weird how it's just like worked in there, because it feels like it's literally two things working at once. Like, one, we got to educate these, these Japanese kids are losing, their Japanese-ness. So we got to educate them. And second, the only way they're going to be educated is by, we got to throw something they actually like in there, and they like this Mega Man thing. So
well, it also seems like there's like mixed purposes of it, because like there's the part when like the whole time travel part, and at some point they go like, we'll see you back here in a year, and everything's destroyed, and you think it's going to be like a, holy shit, did it happen again? But then there's another part of you, like whenever they're talking about when they got a time machine, they're going around like, they're not gonna, and then I'm like, no, they didn't. I didn't think they would. But like at the exact same time, though, like when everything was destroyed, like I was like, oh shit, things are gonna get real here. And then like they don't really make drama of it. They're just like, yeah, the world got destroyed, or Japan got destroyed in this time, whatever, we have a year to fix it. Like, and they're just like, okay, we'll do that. And it's like, you guys could have had an opportunity there to actually make like some, I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not expecting like a Scorsese picture here or something, but some kind of emotion at some point would have been nice,
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think, is that the one when they do the time travel? Is that where like Dr. Wily starts going out and starts messing with the weather? Is that the episode?
Yeah, well, it's twice. There's the first time they do it where they're getting all the holidays, and I think there's the second time where, because I think they have the time machine twice, and the second time he's just going in, he's going ahead and he's doing shit with the weather, and they're trying to find like some kind of weather machine that he made and trying to stop it. And
well, because the part that made me laugh at that one is like, this is like, okay, like the weather thing's going on, and like Mega Man and Roll are watching the weather like they're fucking senior citizens and they just got the Weather Channel, because like there's even a part where like Utah wakes up, he's like, guys, it's a typhoon. Like, this shit happens fucking like every other Tuesday. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Come on, go to bed. Jesus. And then there's like the part where they're like, it's sports day. We're out there, and Mega Man's like, he finds a fucking TV and he's like watching the Weather Channel again. Like, he's like, dude, I'm just blown away by this. Dude, did you see this? You see what's going on over here? There's a hurricane here. There's a tornado over there. An earthquake just happened in Chile. Like, what the serious fuck? It's got to be Dr. Wily. I just fucking know it.
Yeah, like there's interesting setups like that. That's
like
the thing.
Mega Man, you got to pump the brakes on this Weather Channel stuff. You know what I mean? It's causing you mental harm.
He starts like, like good thing he didn't land today. He's like starts to want the flat Earth. Becomes like a starts having like, well, here's the thing. Do we know these vaccines actually work? Like all that kind of shit.
As I say, he's just watching so much like Weather Channel stuff, and it's just like you can't get pulled away from the TV. Do
we know the Holocaust actually happened? I'm just saying that. Like, Mega Man, you got to put a filter on.
You know, and then he's like, see, I told you it's for real. See, Dr. Wily is controlling it. That means the other stuff's real too.
Oh man, Mega Man has a Facebook account. He just fell down that rabbit hole. Oh shit! All right.
Just be like, maybe we gotta stop teaching him customs and just let him go back to the game world where, you know, all he knows is killing and blowing shit up.
We go one, we go all. Oh, Mega Man, no. You know,
Proto Man, you got to get back here. You got to get your brother away from this. You know what I mean? It's just not good for his mental health.
He's talking about QAnon shit now. Fuck. But like, it's one of those things where I like that's the thing. There's nuggets of good ideas, and the action scenes are good, but there's like not enough of it. It just kind of like, I feel like I'll be repeating this a lot, but it's just like, I don't know. If I knew this is what it was going to be, I wouldn't have said like, hey, let's do this one. You know, I thought it was just going to be kind of like, you know, I mean, I guess if anything, we got some, you know, I thought it'd be kind of like, because for a while there's the Sonic OVA, the Sonic the Hedgehog OVA. And that thing, we did audio commentary and we were blasting it a little bit. And like, yeah, it's a little tough to watch. And then thinking back on it, I'm like, you know what? Like, there's like some logic gaps here and there. Like, how does lava flow through a bunch of ice glaciers that kind of hold up the rest of the fucking like floating world or whatever? Like, there's some major weird logic gaps there. And yeah, Sarah's still annoying or whatever. But like, if you watch it in Japanese, it's probably not that bad. It's probably really just the dub that's really bad, if I had a guess. If I'm thinking about the story from A to B and the action, like, it's really probably just it wouldn't be amazing, but it's probably just like really the dub that's really bad if you think about it. I'm watching this and I'm thinking like, wow, this is made better than the Sonic one, but at the exact same time, like, I think I'd go with the Sonic one, even with the dub for the Sonic one, because that at least it's just even if it takes its own take, it's just the story. It's moving forward, you know.
Yeah, well, and I think that's kind of it. It is the weird thing is the trying to explain the culture stuff, and there's a good way to do that, like, you know. And this one kind of just does the hard stop, like literally, it's almost to the point where it's like, dude, you're literally Mega Man's trying to save Japan here because for some reason the rest of the world doesn't matter. Dr. Wily just wants to sink Japan, you know. He don't want to make it too hard for himself. I guess he's like, oh, yeah, I'll just take it one island at a time, you know. Yeah. But it's that thing where it's just like, you know, they'll be going like, dude, Dr. Wily's over there. We got to stop him. We're all so yeah, but wait a second. Let me tell you about a festival in Japan. You just made me like, dude, shut the fuck up. This is like, that has nothing to do with this. If I have to stop and fucking eat all the cotton candy and show me the fucking, you know, candle festival and all this shit, like, Dr. Wily's going to take over the full fucking universe. You know what I mean? He's be like fucking Galactus by the time we're all said and done.
I do think it's funny that like by the end of every episode, like, Dr. Wily is either like, all right, we got to go back into the video game world. Okay, bye. And, you know, like, everyone, they turn on the video game, the whole cast of the game is waving, even Dr. Wily, like, okay, I tried to kill everyone, but it was kind of fun. All right, bye. You know, down to the level of like the last one, there's like, Dr. Wily is like enslaved into being like Mega Santa, you know, basically, you know, and he's just like being forced to go and like give gifts to all the people he tried to fucking annihilate. I'm just got me thinking for a minute, like, in 1945, if someone got to Hitler's bunker in time before he pulled the trigger, like, no, wait, they pull the gun out of his hand. You got to play.
Put this beard on.
Not even that. Like, you got to play dreidel with some kids. Like, oh, like zoom in on his face, like.
Like those menorah candles.
You got to make it up to him. He'll be doing this shit for a while.
There's even part two, I think it's like Rush even goes like, what? Like, Japanese people like Christmas and stuff like that. And be like, well, we don't like the Jesus part, but we sure like the presents. Well, that's fucking weird. You know, Jesus should be this. Rush, shut the fuck up. I'm just saying.
No one gives a fuck what Russia has to say.
Don't take the Christ out of Christmas now.
How about don't beat the shit out of the dog that can't shut the fuck up? They get like a newspaper, like, it's backing up.
That's what I fucking thought.
It's Utah saying this too. It's not even Mega Man.
But I just, it's that thing. It's like, you know what? You can make up for all your terrible deeds as long as you give everybody some fucking presents at the end of the day.
And
that's like literally buying your way out of like terrorism. That's like Osama bin Laden coming out like just a couple of years after 9/11 being like, you know what, I'm sorry guys, here's a big boat of presents. Does this make up for it? How much do you need? A little bit more? I'll give you some more.
Oh, thanks.
Are we good? Can we call it a day there? You know what I mean? Like, Mikasa Sukasa.
It was easy. It was easy being Santa Claus. I already got the beard. I just had to throw on the hat.
I did have a hard time trying to get into a plane, though. I don't know what happened in like the last few years, but it used to be easy. I could fly anywhere. I didn't even have to like pay for a ticket half the time. Now your security's all tight.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry.
sorry. I needed something. I don't. What do you think? Does it look like I have something to fly around the world and deliver presents in?
Sorry, I was living in a compound jacking off to anime porn for the last 15 years.
The worst part too is I just had to watch this fucking Mega Man OVA on repeat. I hate to say it, I know a lot about Japan now, but I don't feel like I wanted to.
I fill in a lot of the blanks for myself.
But yeah, so it all works out, and they can go back to the game world, and Dr. Wily can go on, because we haven't got to be like this. Like literally, it's like this kid's been playing Mega Man 5. It feels like for like ever. It's like the one cartridge he got in like the entire year. So like.
Is someone who knows Mega Man, was it actually accurate to like the characters that popped out of the game and the levels he was at?
Yeah, no,
like,
it had a lot.
Like if it was like Mega Man 5 specifically or something.
Yeah, because I think it had some of the. It's been a while since I played. I have played through pretty much every single Mega Man at one point in time, or at least the old ones. 1 through 8 in Mega Man X collection, but yeah, I want to say it does have that, and then like the weapons he uses, I want to say are actually from Mega Man 5. It's not just like they're just pulling stuff randomly from other things. Because I do think that the other goal of this thing was to sell some Mega Man 5 and some NES 2s, for sure. Yeah. Like, so I think they wanted to make it kind of feel accurate, use this material from there, because they like really double down. It's not just like, oh, it's just Mega Man. Because at first when I was watching it, I was like, I wonder what year this is supposed to be. And then when I saw like that NES, I was like, okay, it's kind of telling me that. And then when I saw the Mega Man 5, I'm like, oh, well, that tells you kind of specifically when it is.
I don't really know the lore that well. As far as I know, like Proto Man, does Proto Man start off as a villain, becomes a good guy later?
Yeah, because you like sort of fight Proto Man in Mega Man 2 or 3 or something like that, and then like and then you kind of realize like he's your brother, the older one, the original. It's like, well, that's probably what the Proto means then.
Yeah, and then is it kind of like after that, like there's just you come to understanding or whatever, or he just challenges you to make sure you're strong enough up to the task kind of thing?
I think something like that. You know what I mean?
Remember, he was the bad guy in the American cartoon, or he was a bad guy in the maybe he eventually became good. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, because at first he kind of has that like Knuckles thing, like Sonic 3. Like that's kind of almost the best way to sort of look at it. As he's like that character, and then as time goes on, it's like, oh, he becomes kind of, fights with Mega Man, and he's on his side and everything like that. It's kind of the same way that well, kind of like the Zero is more just looked upon as like the Mega Man X's older mentor. I was trying to say Base from Mega Man.
I thought Zero's. I heard someone say Zero is actually Proto, just like remodeled and reprogrammed, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
That could be the case. As I say, I'm not like the deepest of the lore. I have like a couple Mega Man comics that I have got throughout the years, but that's probably where you fill in a lot more of the gap.
I'll say, because I don't know how long I can really talk about this movie, because not really a lot really happens, but like for the sake of length. Ian Flynn, the writer of the Sonic comics, who also did that Mega Man crossover with him, Sonic and Mega Man crossover, like near the end of Archie. It didn't happen. It fell through, and they said they didn't even have like a full draft of how they wanted to do it. But they're going to try to see if they could do it first before they went into all the effort of like playing it out. They basically wanted to do kind of like a Marvel style of like Secret Wars for like the next arc, where it was Mega Man Sonic, and Mario.
That would be pretty badass.
They're basically thrown like on a battle world, and they fight it out, and then eventually they all team together and go against the bad guys.
Because that Mega Man crossover with Sonic was pretty sweet. That was like one of the last ones, or last comics I was able to find like on a Hey Kids comic spinner rack and continuously buy the rest of them. I would go there like every week and pick them up, and then that was like the ending run of all that good stuff. But
well, it was like they had like a Mega Man Sonic crossover, and they later did like Sega. It was starring Mega Man and Sonic, but like Sega with Capcom crossover, like a few characters from each major franchise in some big battle royale. And the next thing was they wanted to do, before all the Ken Benders and Archie shit happened, and plus Nintendo said no, but they wanted to do a Mario versus Sonic versus Mega Man.
Yeah, no, that would have been totally badass. I kind of can see Nintendo being like, no, we don't need to bring you guys up to our level, like kind of thing.
Yeah, well, there's also like I want to say like someone from there. Yeah, I don't know. Someone from there was also trying to pitch like a ongoing Mario comic, but Nintendo's like, nah, we're good. I honestly don't think they even wanted the Mario movie to happen that much. I think they like the idea of a theme park. In order to make the theme park happen, they're like, fine, if you must, the fucking movie, sure. I think in time, and that's kind of how it happened. That's my assumption. I might be totally wrong, but yeah.
Well, and I also think the more that Nintendo is rolling in the money, like the less they could care about like any of that extra stuff. They're like, dude, we're good. Like, we're fucking good. Mm-hmm. We're killing it, no matter what. Like, because that's the thing, is where Sega's always like, well, where can we take this hedgehog to next?
Yeah, like
Sonic, there's another furry convention going on. You know how popular you are there.
Oh yeah, I know. Just
boy, do I fucking know.
He just like on his like fifth pack of cigarettes that day, like just like at a stool in the back, like I can't do this anymore.
Hey, can you just send Ristar? Nobody remembers Ristar. Come on, man! Like
he'd be perfect though. He has that like thing where he like grabs things and starts shaking them. He could do that.
Yeah, he's got that shaking baby syndrome attack.
Yeah, so he can do that. Reach his arms across the room and jerk some furry off. Yeah, he could do that. People love it.
Yeah, it won't get in his eye. Okay, so Nintendo, we got this crossover. Sonic's like, man, Mario, man, come on. Man, you gotta fucking do it. I don't know if I can do another one of these furry conventions. Like, it's just barely paying the bills.
How about we do the Olympics instead? Like, oh, okay, all right, sure, we'll do the Olympics. Fuck it, fine. I gotta stop smoking now. All right.
Yeah, there's a positive there,
He's just thinking about the 100-yard dash or whatever. He's not thinking about like boxing or like flag waving. He says, "What? Fuck! I didn't know we were gonna do this shit too. God damn."
Flag waving.
Or there's the shit. There's the games where you don't think they're gonna do. Like there is like a flag. I saw like a Let's Play when it came out. They do like a flag waving kind of game, and then like the curling. So it's just kind of funny just seeing like like Waluigi, Blaze the Cat, Robotnik, and fucking Bowser all like curling,
Dude, fucking running off the fucking like. I just like the idea of Bowser running with like the fucking broom.
Doesn't he, like crack the fucking ice or somehow?
I always remember that felt like that was such a weird, like, like I get the sports ties, because you have all the Mario ones. They make kind of sense. Like, okay, Mario basketball, Mario golf, tennis and so on like that. But it was like the Winter Olympics. Oh, okay, sure.
Well, just in general, just a weird thing. That's the thing to make them come together. I'm like, this has to be in April, because when that first happened, they just had like the title of it, and just the logo saying Mario and Sonic go to the Olympics. Like, this is gonna be some April Fool's shit. This isn't the April Fool's issue. Well, it's a joke. This can't be fucking real. It's like, oh shit, it was real.
Yeah, you think there would almost be more of a, just like in a weird way, like a Mario Sonic golf crossover would be like more of like a, or tennis or any of those ones would be just like let's just do that. You know what I mean?
Something like that. Yeah, it's weird that Mario beat Sonic to racing, but yeah. But going back to Mega Man for a minute though, like because we talk. I feel like Mega Man is one of those things that it was huge in the '90s, and it kind of pops up every so often. But it's really kind of like it's one of those franchises they really left alone for a while. Like they really haven't touched it. It comes back every so often. But it's such like an important like franchise, especially to Capcom, and it's kind of like more or less their Mario.
Mm-hmm. No, it literally is, because it's kind of weird when you think about it, because it's like you have Mega Man, the original run, which is, you have 1 through 8. And there's technically, if you want to, I always call 9, or at least back in the day, Mega Man in base used to be kind of referred to as 9, even though it comes, I think, technically before 8, but whatever. That kind of makes for 9 of them in total. And then they did that 10, or they did that Mega Man 9 and 10 like during like the WiiWare era, where they're like, hey, we'll make some new NES Mega Man games that are going to be super, even fucking harder than you remember, like just to top it off.
I'm nodding like I know because I didn't play. Like, yeah, but I didn't play. I don't know.
But they were still kind of cool. But then it was kind of like they did that, and then that was sort of it. And then of course Mega Man had the X run of 1 through 6, and then they did 7 and 8, which were the PS2 ones that were kind of like pseudo 3D and so on like that. And then, of course, I guess the third Mega Man was that Mega Man Battle Network, which, so if you're kind of like the younger generation, that was kind of the big Mega Man for a certain era, on Game Boy Advance and DS and so on like that. But then about after that, other than some spin-offs here and there and, Mega Man being in Smash Brothers, and those collections, they have some nice collections that have come out in the last while. So that when they go on sale, if you ever get a chance, like either on PlayStation or Switch, pick up the Mega Man X or, Mega Man, the first one. Sometimes they'll go on sale for like, it seems like $20 or $30 for like all of them. It's just like, here you go, Mega Man complete, with the Zero collection, with everything. You're going to be so fucking frustrated by the end of the day, which... The nice thing is they do throw like
dog with a newspaper for talking.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna beat they do throw in kind of like an easier mode in there, which I feel like there is nothing fucking wrong with that in a Mega Man game, because sometimes you just want to play through some of them. Especially, I remember like when Mega Man X6 came out back in the day, like on PlayStation, it was literally like the joke at school was like everybody came there and be like, dude, can anybody get past the first level? Like it's like that. It's like that hard. Like right at the beginning, it's like, geez, why is this so intense?
Well, yeah, I guess I don't really know. I picked up a few Mega Mans and just dabbled a little bit here and there, but I've never really finished one or played one long enough. Just more like at a friend's house kind of thing. Yeah. But I always, like I said, I always loved the character designs. I always kind of liked the world it took place in. Not to sound, this is going to sound like the most pussiest thing ever, but like Mega Man X seemed too dark. Not like that, but I guess it seemed a little too kind of like there's too much to keep up with. A little bit more kind of like try hard, kind of like we got to make it edgy. It's kind of aging. The kids are growing too old for this, so we got to make it like more anime and more angsty and all that. But I'm sure it's still fun. I'm sure there's still a good story there.
Well, I remember one of the weirdest things when I remember, okay, so playing Mega Man X back in the day on Super Nintendo, like, they don't talk in those games. So, like, it wasn't until, I remember Mega Man 8 was the one where I was like, okay, I heard Mega Man talk, and, he's got like the, hi, I'm Mega Man, I talk in a high-pitched voice, look at me. And then I remember, like, seeing a cutscene on, like, Mega Man, I think it was, like, X4 or something like that, and he still had that, hey, I'm Mega Man X now. It's like, that is not what I pictured when I played these Super Nintendo games of what he sounded like at all. Like, how does he still have this voice? I haven't aged a bit. I'm 146.
Well, I remember it was like...
I haven't aged either. Yeah, Rushby, you seem to get more retarded each year.
Go solve some fucking mysteries in a haunted house, Like, go get chased by, like a fucking ghost out of fucking hallway back and forth.
With some 60s tunes playing. some hip band, you know what I mean? Some hip teenage band at the time.
Yeah. With the lady from the fuck was it? From the Mamas and Papas there too. I don't know.
Mama Cass.
Mama Cass, thank you. Yeah. That was that, yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like, not to be like, I'm sure if I played more like Mega Man X would be cool. I remember like a friend of mine showed me Mega Man like X4 where it had like animated cutscenes, and there's like a flashback where I think it was Zero. I don't remember who it was, but one of them wakes up from a dream and there's like blood all over his hands and a bunch of dead robots. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck happened? It was just like the super like, when the fuck? And when I was like, like 12 or 13, like, that is the rawest shit ever. When did this happen? When did its nuts finally drop? And now I'm like, I kind of like the simplicity of it. I mean, story-wise, I mean, is a big Sonic fan. Story-wise, I mean, aesthetically, I prefer classic Sonic, but story-wise, modern makes more sense, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say, because that X4, that's the one you are talking about. Like, if there was one Mega Man game I'd probably recommend over to anyone else to kind of go with, I would almost say that X4 is a good starting point. I know it seems weird because it seems like it's far into like the run, but that's like that one where I feel like it holds up really good. The graphics look really amazing on it because that's like that PlayStation era where like they were still in 2D, but they just had like highly animated, detailed ones. The cutscenes are badass in it and everything like that, you know. And that one's not too bad. I mean, it's a Mega Man game. It's eventually going to get to like the end of the game where it's going to get like, okay, battle all 8 bosses in a row with 1 health bar. Good fucking luck.
Oh,
you
that
know,
kind
like
of shit, right?
Yeah, well, that's all Mega Man games seem to do that. Like, you know, but if you get the new set, like they have like kind of like a frustration free mode where it's like not so bad, where like Mega Man literally takes like twice as much damage, or he can take it twice as much damage, so like you have twice the health bar in a sense, and a couple other little things. It's like that's kind of nice because it's like if you just want to kind of run through some of those other games and just kind of have fun with them, it's like they're still gonna be challenging. It's not like the challenge has gone out of the way. It's just they're not like kick you in the nuts challenging, you know.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. This right here, I guess, it kind of what would this remind me of this movie? Bring it back to the actual movie, not just Mega Man is a franchise with this movie. This really reminded me of just kind of like the Mega Man version of Super Friends. I mean, better than that, but at the same time, kind of like, you know, when we were like yeah, we had at the time we had like, you know, Superman, Batman animated series, but before Justice League came around, the closest thing we had was Super Friends. So like, okay, I mean, I guess I got to put up with them doing this, like, you know, like Marvin and Wendy and the fucking dog. And then like even when they eventually dropped the edumacation thing with that, they went over to, it was still kind of like, you know, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman talking, and then maybe Green Lantern chimes in like, "Oh, use my ring." Yeah, you fucking do that, you know, like Flash, run over there real quick. Like, okay, I will. Good, fucking do it. I said it was them to fucking do it, you know. So it's like that's as most it ever was. So I guess we're not getting on a tangent there, though. But I mean, as far as this goes, it just feels kind of like, I guess for someone, I'm saying like I always wanted like a Mega Man thing. I just didn't know there's a Mega Man anime. So I'm like, oh, this looks cool. And then like I just happen to land in all these parts that look really cool. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, this is what it is. We're already this far, and we got an episode to do.
You know, it does kind of make me want to go back and check out the Mega Man, the American cartoon show again, because I have fond memories of watching it as a wee young lad when it would come on. And as I said, I remember it coming on like a weird station. I want to say like USA. I could be just making that
USA. I remember USA.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, because USA used, I think they were kind of like, I almost want to say that was the same place that like Sailor Moon originally appeared too. And once again, I could be making that up, but for some reason it wasn't on, it didn't feel like it was on Fox or, you know, something like that. It became on Cartoon Network later, but, you know, I want to say maybe USA was kind of a forerunner of like, hey, you know what? We're bringing over some of these, this is what we got. We got some Japanese cartoons. Nobody else has these yet.
In USA, yeah. The whole place is really
yeah, USA.
We beat them in World War II, so now we took their fucking cartoons. What you gonna do about it? Yeah, like that kind of shit.
And now now we make them animate our own cartoons. That's their Dr. Wily punishment.
To bring it back full circle, yeah.
You know, that's the thing is like, why are you guys just animating all these American cartoons for like fucking $20 and a case of top ramen? Well,
yep. Well, I gotta say, we got bills to pay, but this doesn't pay the fucking bills. It's just is what it is, you know. But yeah,
you know how the U.S. is. They never forget Pearl Harbor. They never forget 9/11. They just keep making everybody else make up for it.
They expect us to forget everything they did, but
yeah, they're like, well, that bomb guy took out the bomb took out everybody who saw it. Let's be honest.
U.S. always used the saying, "Oh, that was then." Like, oh well.
You know what I mean? That was just a flashbang. That's all it was. What? Did you see it? No, I didn't think so. But the whole town's gone. Was there a town there before? Or you just? I think you're just making that shit up.
Oh, Jiro, you're such a kidder. You're such a fucking kidder, Jiro. Just like firmly puts the hand on the shoulder. Such a fucking kidder. Like, all right.
Hey, we made Osama bin Laden fucking deliver presents for 10 years before we killed him.
That's some deep state shit, yeah.
It's be like, dude, did you know the government had Osama bin Laden out there filling in for Santa Claus? You know, sometimes Santa Claus likes to take a vacation. Nobody thinks about that.
Just did you know that not only does Santa Claus work for the government, he's actually Osama bin Laden. Yeah. It's like the Suicide Squad, basically.
Hirohito, you know, Osama bin Laden, Adolf Hitler. They have to make up for the deeds they did wrong by working for the U.S. government's special force tactics. If they decide to run away, their heads blow off, and somebody comes up and kicks them in the nuts. Why? Because they fucking said so.
After their heads blow up, you know, just to get it across. And specifically for holidays.
Yeah, it's holidays. You know what I mean? Sometimes you ever wonder who plays the Easter Bunny?
You don't want to know. You ain't ready.
That's Mussolini.
I was thinking that was the original Kim Jong. You know, that was the original one. Like, he's not really dead.
Yeah, he ain't dead. You know what I mean? There's some holiday cheer to be given still, and he's gonna fill in the boots.
Wily is just looking at, well, what's even like, because that part of it is like Mega Man is just like, yeah, don't worry. He's like, oh, like, please just let me go to the video game world, Mega Man, please. Like, okay. And then prison.
Don't drop the soap, Dr. Wily.
Let's see you fight them back in your old age. Like, oh, Jesus Christ, Mega Man. Like, you got to become someone's bitch.
Well, we told them that you were a pedophile, and you know what they do to pedophiles.
Mega Man, please don't, no. We're sending you to county. Oh, they'll keep you alive in county.
I know, Mega Man was so happy about him going to fucking prison.
I mean, for a minute, I was like worried, like, I guess this Wily is not as, like, he doesn't plan it out as much. He's good at the devices, but he's not good at planning the shit out because, you know, at some point, like, when all those kids were catching gifts, like, I knew it wouldn't, but as part of me's like, those things might fucking explode, you know? Like, fuck you, cock! And like kicks Mega Man in the face and like goes to the time vortex again or some shit. Like, I don't know. Like, some shit kind of like that. Not that I really thought that was going to happen, but I'm like, I mean, I feel like a competent Wily would have something like that. I imagine someone like a Wily would have like a, I don't know. I guess I don't know enough about him. I don't really know enough. I guess like I can think of like Robotnik from like the comics. And, you know, the thing is that brings him down his ego. But the thing is, he's, like, at least in the comics and whatnot, he is very, like, calculating and all that. Like, almost, like, sometimes to a Joker level. Sometimes.
Yeah, well, and I feel like Wily and Robotnik are very similar characters. I think that's what made the Sonic crossover kind of seem kind of right, because it's like, in a sense, they're not too far off. It's like, you know, it's like they both fight a guy who makes a bunch of, like, enslaved robots to, like, you know, fight his wars and so on like that and run his factories, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it feels like it is, and they're both blue that fight, you know what I mean? Like true blue to the end.
Exactly. But yeah.
Mega Man OVA, you know, if you want to see it for historical values and you want to learn some weird shit about Japan that you may or may not already know, You know, watch Mega Man try to use chopsticks and watch a Japanese family laugh at him when he fails. You know,
even though he can't, he says multiple times he can't eat, and you see him trying to pick up an egg, and like, you know, you just Mega Man just like to laugh at him. He's like, you know, I saved the fucking world. You're all fucking lying. Just gets all fucking aggro. Just like his gun charges. Like, whoa, Mega Man, what the fuck? What the fuck? I saved the fucking world. I saved Japan. You're making fun of me because I can't use fucking chopsticks. I kicked the thing over.
Yeah, they're always trying to feed him, like, continuously, even though he says that and stuff. He's like, dude, I only drink energy drinks. You guys got like a Monster or a Red Bull? Like that's all I can have.
No, we got green tea. Oh, God fucking damn it.
No, that's like the weak shit. I mean, unless it's one of those green tea monsters, I'll take one of those if you got it. But if it's not that, I don't want
We
it.
don't. Oh, fuck. Well, I guess I'm going to America.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. It's like, maybe the next one, they should be like, okay, Mega Man and Rush go to America. Explore the American traditions. You know what I mean?
Mega Man goes to North Korea. They're just going to hit them all up, you know?
It just goes... You know what I mean? Just like he has to go on like an educational journey around the world and then fight Dr. Wily as, you know, Dr. Wily tries to
never, wherever they go, they do not whitewash it. They're just very like, yep, here's where the Battle of Wounded Knee happened. Like, oh, okay, you know, so.
And no, that's not a Ninja Turtles level, if that's what you were wondering. Yeah, it just goes like that. Like, let's go through the rough history parts, you know? It's like in Japan, like, what's this big crater right here?
Well, Rush. Let me tell you, Rush, what that is. Like, whoa.
You know, like one of those ones. And I like also too, they're like, where should we, there's a part where like they're looking for Dr. Wily, like, where is he hiding at? Like, he probably is in the biggest mountain ever. Oh, so that's Mount Fuji. It's like, yeah, where else would he be? Let's be honest, he's fucking like Dr. Evil in this shit.
Yeah.
They'll never find me in the tallest volcano in all of Japan. Oh shit, they found me.
I imagine someone probably made an OVA abridged, like a abridged of this. I'm not sure if it's any funny. I think abridged are like fan-made abridges that are comedy-based are usually like really
the Dragon Ball one, like the
that's one. Team 4 Star is really good, but beyond that, it's a real fucking roll of the dice, you know. But yeah. Anyway, I actually gotta get going here. But yeah.
Well, that's probably a place to wrap it up at. Anyways, Mega Man. I think they called this whole thing Upon a Star, but it's the OVA series 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, as I said, watch them if you so desire for Mega Man-ness, but. Probably there's better Mega Man stuff out there to really check out, but they are still worth a laugh. I'm not gonna say like I walked away not with some good laughs here. You know what I mean?
Some new knowledge of Japan too.
And some new knowledge of Japan. Can't go wrong and all that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, till then, check out the other podcast, comic books, and all that fun stuff we have. I'll put the link tree just in the description below. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes,
and I'm Ryan Dunnigan,
and we'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.